Welcome back to Ask Uncle Lee, and just a quick to let you know thing. I am putting all of my videos on TikTok now. So, and with these specific Ask Uncle Lee videos, I'm splitting them. If I do like three, I usually do about 3 questions a week, so I'm splitting them to 3 videos and uploading them onto TikTok on separate days, and then doing the Demon of the Week on Saturday and the normal Monday musings video on a Monday. So you can find, if you are on TikTok and you prefer TikTok, then go there. I want to try and build my audience on TikTok, and then I can maybe do some lives there also, besides just here on YouTube. I've never really been a big fan of Instagram and Facebook, and just less and less over the months and years, I think. So I'm gonna see if I can sort some stuff out on TikTok and build my audience there. Alright, so let's get into today's questions. Welcome to my channel. You are entering the world of magic and mysticism with your host, Lee W. Johnson. Keep the lights on and help improve the channel by becoming a supporter for just $2.99 per month. Hit the join button. Okay, so the first question is this one. Let me just you'll hear the clicky sounds in the background there, just going through to the question. Here we go. From Kerry. Is there a demon that would work with me in mundane matters of justice? I'm trying to get an insanity defense restored in my state. Ran 2 bills over the last 2 years. They both died in committees, and I'm hopeful to run another bill next legislative session. But would love the help. Which Daemon should I implore for assistance? Thank you. So I had a look through information that I do have. I'm trying to find one that would be best suited for this particular purpose, and I came up with agaras. And the main reason for that was a few reasons actually. Agaras, just check my notes over here, does bring back brings people back to face justice, is a note that I had made. And you also find the description in the Ars Goetia to say, maketh them to run that stand still. So it will actually get people to actually move, to do their job, to do what they're supposed to be doing, okay? Which is probably something you need assistance with. And also destroys dignities. And in this case, that would be kind of like taking the dignities, which are the people within these legislatures that are not doing their jobs, and sorting them out, basically. So I do think agaras would probably be a good one for this particular thing. You could always also create a servitor for this particular matter. Actually create a servitor which is aimed, the whole purpose of the servitor is around what you actually do with your job, with these, as you say, mundane matters of justice, and help you to do that. And I'm talking about servitor. This is in similar regards to a familiar. So you could even call out for a familiar that can help you with this. So there's lots of different, just don't have to just look at the demonic for this. There's lots of avenues you can go down. And personally, I would probably actually call for a familiar, ask one of these demons or gods or goddesses, whatever you feel comfortable working with, to give you a familiar maybe for this particular thing, or just create your own. Go and create a servitor for this particular purpose. And in that case, it's actually programmed specifically for that particular thing. And so you don't have to go running around and wondering, will the spirit help me? Yes, it will, because that's what its whole purpose is. It's purpose of existing. So yeah, I would definitely go with the servitor. Just create a servitor for it and keep, building it, growing it, making it stronger. Feeding it so that it does get stronger and therefore can help you faster and in more severe cases, probably. Yeah. All right. That's a quick one. I think the next one's a quick one. Let's just have a look at what that was. Okay, so this one is from Nomadic Neanderthal 1377. Thanks for the question. Oh, I just want to also say thank you everybody for the questions. I had a flurry of questions which are absolutely amazing. I did ask for more questions because I was running out, and I've got tons now, which is brilliant. But keep them coming. Don't stop. Keep them coming. All right, from Nomadic Neanderthal 1377. Hey, Uncle Lee. Have you ever worked with or have knowledge of Ahriman? I hear a lot of conflicting information about the spirit. Would love to hear your thoughts. I don't actually work with Ahriman. This comes from Zoroastrianism. It's not really one of those avenues I ever went down. I do a few times throughout the years. I've kind of like touched on it and thought, let me see what this is about, and kind of started down that avenue, and really just no attraction at all, just absolutely no attraction to that particular path and tradition. I think we'll probably find that when it comes to Zoroastrianism, this was the originating religion that kind of did this whole, we have to separate the good and the evil, and so we create these two opposing forces, which are, one's good, one's evil, which then led into all of the other various religions which have these opposing forces and these elements. And the most obvious one within our modern society obviously is Christianity, where we have God and Satan, these two opposing forces. But Ahriman was also called Angra Mainyu, and the adversary to that was Spenta Mainyu. And as I said, therefore you've got Ahriman or Angra Mainyu, which was the destructive or the evil spirit, and then you've got the Spenta Mainyu, which was the opposing or the adversary to that, the opposing force, which was then the creative aspect, or the Holy Spirit. So yeah, I don't really particularly like this whole idea personally, no matter what form it comes in. Whether it is God and Satan, or whether it is this Angra Mainyu and Spenta Mainyu from Zoroastrianism. Where you've got these two opposing forces, and you have to follow one or the other type of thing. That's not how the cosmos or universe or nature works. Everything around us is both of these forces put together, melded together, and this, it kind of forms that whole binary aspect, actually, of trying to separate the good from the evil, the black from the white, the left from the right, the male from the feminine, all of these opposing forces, and we try to keep them separate. They should not be separate. We are all these things, and therefore we have to bring them together and bring them into equilibrium, which is what I was talking about. And in this regard, I think when it comes to this aspect of purely from Zoroastrianism, as I said, I don't work with Ahriman. There's probably some people out there who have personal experiences with Ahriman which are completely different to the Zoroastrian belief. Just as anybody who works with Satan from a Christian perspective, and holding a Christian worldview, but works with Satan specifically, will have a different view of what Satan is than a Christian person would actually have. So anyway, I'm gonna ramble with this. Bottom line is, we have this idea of this evil spirit from a particular religion, which just over the years evolved into something different within our own modern religions that we see nowadays. So Ahriman became Satan within the Christian tradition. But people's personal experience of that particular spirit would probably be different, depending on which side of the fence they're on. But if they are still holding the view that this is the opposing force of something else, as in what I'm trying to say is, if they hold the view that Ahriman or Angra Mainyu is the good spirit and therefore Spenta Mainyu is the bad spirit, the opposing force, they're still holding that worldview which separates these things, these two forces, instead of trying to bring them together into equilibrium. That's where I personally have a difficulty with the whole thing, but that's just my own personal opinion. But yeah, that's really all I can say about that, I think. I'll cover Ahriman in Demon of the Week at some stage. I know a lot of people do work with Ahriman, so I'll do a deep dive into some various information from Zoroastrianism through to people who have a more positive outlook on it not being the destructive evil force. And then again, there's nothing wrong with this destructive evil. Well, I don't even want to use the word evil, but this destructive force, coming back to nature. Nature is all things. It is destructive and creative. You've got to have both. You can't just have one. You can't just go through, focus on this force which is destructive all the time, because your life's going to be destroyed. You have to focus on both. You've got to destroy things in order to create things. Once you've created things, you may need to destroy something in order to evolve it. So this destruction and creation has to come into play in equilibrium all the time. Constant cycles that we go through. You can't just go on the destructive path or the creative path. It's just not going to work. And this is where we find difficulty with all of these ideologies revolving around left-hand path, right-hand path, good and evil, black and white magic. There is no color, there is no real path. The only way we could consider a left and right path is just simply the direction or the approach that you're taking in order to get to the goal. Both go to the same goal. There's just two different paths that you can possibly take. One has one approach, another path has a completely different approach. That's the only reason we should be separating these ideas of left and right hand path, and that comes back to Hinduism. The one path is very active. It's about breaking taboos. The other path is very internal and very quiet, but they're both going to the same goal. So yeah, anyway, I am going to ramble. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one there, and go on to the next question, which is a double question from One Love Harpo. Okay, so I'm going to read both questions together because it looks like they are going to be very separate answers. Okay, so 1. How can I make myself an attractive partner for spirits and elementals in general? You mentioned they're elementals, so therefore I'm going to assume that you are referring to elementals as in nature spirits. Then you would look after your environment, look after yourself. Spirits don't really want to come into a place, a home which is filthy and dirty. They want to come in knowing that you actually do care about yourself and your environment, your own space, and not just your own house or your apartment, but beyond that into nature. So if you're walking around a park and you see some rubbish, pick it up, throw it in the bin. Give respect to the spirits in that way. But if you completely and utterly just not looking after yourself at all, you're a complete slob and your home or your apartment, your flat or your house is a complete and utter mess. You don't throw rubbish away, you just throw it on the floor. You haven't washed the dishes in 5 months. All that stuff, all that kind of I don't look after myself and I don't care. That's not very attractive to any spirit. So they want to know that you can actually look after yourself and your environment, your home, because then you will have the discipline to do what you need to do in order to appeal or to give them offerings to, if you make a promise, you will actually keep that promise. So that kind of goes a long way to helping with that. So yeah. And then the second question there was, for spirits still in duality, angels, demons, etc., do they believe themselves to be divine and evil personally? Most beings think they are good in spite of actions or opinions of others, and I am curious if they deeply embrace those polarities, or do the angels have a divine humility? Do the demons embrace being evil and damned? How do you think they react to people who don't really believe in those things, beings that are inherently divine or evil? You're actually talking about this from a human perspective, not from the perspective of spirits. We are the ones who have this ideology of good and evil, of divine and evil. We do sometimes use this terminology in order to explain something, to get a point across, but we shouldn't have. When it comes to the spirits themselves, they don't consider themselves to be any of this at all. They don't even consider themselves to be good or evil. They're just neutral. They're just, again, coming back to nature. What's nature? Is nature good or evil? You may say good because you're looking at a beautiful forest and it looks pretty and it makes you feel nice and happy, and therefore nature's good. But when a forest fire comes running through and destroys the trees and the plants and it kills animals, then all of a sudden nature's bad or evil. But it's neither. It has to destroy in order to create. And this is what we need to try and get to in regards to the spirits. Angels and demons. Angels are not good and demons evil. That's not the case at all. When we're talking about demons, we are talking about we're going back. We're not talking about demons as in the modern interpretation of what a demon is from the Christian ideology, which is an evil spirit. We are talking about the Daemon and the Daemon from the Greek and the Latin. These were spirits. In demonology itself, they are considered to be divine intelligences. When we talk about a divine intelligence, we're talking about angelic beings, including angels, including jinn, including fae, including gods and goddesses. All of these spirits are considered to be divine intelligences. They are higher intelligences. They're higher vibrational beings, as opposed to lower vibrational beings, which are your astral parasites, your imposters, your sludge, your negativity, your bad emotions, all the things that bring you down and hold you down. That's lower vibrational entities, but all of these things, these entities we work with are higher vibrational. They are divine intelligences, and this is what we're trying to get to, is that the word didn't mean evil spirit. It meant a spirit. And if you go back to right to the beginning of first recorded use of the word daimon from the Greek, that's 3000 BCE, from the Minoans, if I remember correctly. This was before the word theos even came about, which referred to God. Therefore, daimon considered or was considered to refer to all of the spirits, including the gods, including the nothingness, everything. And then it evolved through the years, and obviously, yes, it came to this idea of demons meaning evil spirits, but that's just because Christians came along and did that. But it doesn't mean evil spirit. A demon is not evil and an angel is not good. They are just entities. They are spirits. An angel just works in a different department of the company than what we call a demon is. When we're talking about demon, again, coming back to the word demon, yes, we can lump angels and gods and goddesses into this category of divine intelligences. Within demonology itself, when we're talking about the daemon or the demon, we are talking about usually Middle Eastern entities, spirits, gods and goddesses, but also very chthonic type of spirits, your underworldly and your earthly, your terrestrial type of spirits, which they're a bit more closer to the earth realm and a bit more concerned with human activities, whereas angels generally aren't. They are these entities which are more concerned with larger aspects of the cosmos. The sun coming up in the morning and going down in the evening. A storm, a gust of wind, an earthquake. And this is the other thing. Angels can cause earthquakes, which will destroy cities, and they're considered to be good. They're not, but they're also not evil. Again, they're all neutral. They're all just entities that are doing what they're supposed to be doing. But we humans, it all comes out of this, right at the beginning, or the one of the previous questions today was about the spirit of Ahriman, the Zoroastrianism entity, which was considered to be the evil spirit, and that's where the separation came in, good versus evil, and it's kind of continued through this idea that angels are good and demons are evil, and it's not the case at all. Let's just go through those questions quickly again after a very long explanation. Do they believe themselves to be divine and evil personally? No, not at all. Most beings think they are good in spite of actions or opinions of others, and I'm curious if they deeply embrace those polarities, or do the angels have a divine humility? When you say most beings think they are good in spite of actions or opinions of others, that's humans, not angels. So no. Do the demons embrace being evil and damned? They are not evil and damned. Damned also speaks of being damned to hell. It's a Christian concept. I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in the Christian concept of hell. Therefore, they cannot be damned anyway. How do you think they react to people who don't really believe in those things, beings that are inherently divine or evil? They're not inherently divine or evil. My favorite example with this always is I always come back to Marbas. Marbas is, you can call on Marbas and you can ask Marbas to help you heal a disease, heal an ailment, heal something physical. He's also very connected with the mechanical arts, so he loves the mechanics of the body and everything else. But you can even ask him to come and heal your car. But he's considered the entity that you call on to heal the sick. At the same time, you can also call on him to create disease. So which is he, good or evil? He heals people, so he's good. He creates disease, which kills people, so he's bad. He's evil. But he does both, so which is he? There is no inherently divine or inherently good or evil here. These are entities, they're spirits. If they can do one thing, they can do the opposite thing. It's humans that have created this separation. It's humans that have created or have separated ourselves, from the divine itself. We think that we are physical entities, and we need to remove ourselves from this physical, mundane life in order to reach the divine and become more spiritual. No, That's Christianity again. You know, I prefer to go with the witchcraft perspective on this, probably specifically the traditional witchcraft perspective on this, of where we combine the physical, the mundane, with the spiritual. You shouldn't be separating them, you know. In order to have union with the divine, you have to incorporate everything, because the divine is everything, the spiritual and the physical. The divine is all of the worlds, including this one, this physical one. So you need to bring them all, understand them all, and bring them all into equilibrium again, into balance. So, yeah, long explanation for that, but I thought we should get into it again, because it's an important topic anyway. All right, so I think I'm going to leave it there for today, and I'll see you next week with more questions. And again, thank you for all the questions. You really came through. Everybody came through. And yeah, just keep them coming. And then we won't run out. So have a good one. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.